I was born in, well, actually Edina, Minnesota. Ryan John Lambert. Little chubby guy. Good looking though already. My dad grew up in St. Louis Park and my mom grew up in the farm country. So it's kind of a mix of the city life and the farm life. They met in a grocery store parking lot and my mom drove over my dad because he was trying to save the spot. My mom said nope, drove him over and parked there anyway. I was a shy little kid, bright blonde hair, really timid. My mom always told me, she's like, come on Ryan, you gotta quit being so shy. You got a mouth, use it. Things have changed. Now I do use it.
And it was around that time that I met Ryan.
Well, I would say I was interested right away, but I didn't know anything about her really.
It wasn't a very good first meeting. Emily and I were out one night relaxing after being at work. We were catching a cab home.
And was getting into the cab with a friend of mine.
And Ryan gets in the cab also because he's going to the same group of friends' house.
I figured we'd split the tab.
Turn around, he asked me what my name is.
She's beautiful.
And I said my name is Rikki.
I'm going, Rikki? Oh, what is Rikki short for?
He said, oh, does anybody ever call you Richard or Dick?
Well, she didn't like that. She kind of turns around from the front seat and gives me this glare.
You know what I'm talking about.
I was a little bit offended. I get a little sassy when I have a couple of drinks. I had a few choice words for her.
Like, God, this girl's got an attitude. It was Rochelle.
And that was actually
pretty much how we met.
She gives me with this sweet perm like my mom's. I used to have Mandy do my hair and try to get it as high as she could back in the 80s, you know, the 80s look. This is my pouty look. My full name is Rochelle Ann Sparring. I grew up in Esco, Minnesota, just south of Duluth. Living in Esco was adventurous. We lived on a lot of land, playing in the mud, riding our big wheels, climbing trees, t-ball, using rocks as the bases. It was very carefree. I love dance. I did jazz, I did tap, and then as I got a little older, point. I kind of grew out of it, I think. After that, it was karate. Here's me accepting my yellow belt. Karate is kind of similar in that sense, and discipline.
You needed a lot of that.
I played softball all through middle school and high school. Band. I played the trumpet in band. I never really stayed put in one activity. I would get bored and move on to the next.
Growing up with her, she was difficult.
I have one sister, Mandy.
I had to hold back from strangling her.
I like to live on the edge, shall we say.
Ricky's got a really big heart. She definitely had the middle child syndrome.
And I have one little brother, Dan. He's our little big brother. He's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. Let me show you this wrestling move that I just learned. And he'll like twist you around like a pretzel. My mom's name is Carol. She kind of wears the pants in the family, I would say. Dinner at our table is, you know, it's a little non-traditional. She always has good advice. She is a very loving person. She tends to talk a lot sometimes, but I love my mom very much. She takes really good care of all of us. My dad is kind of the strong, silent type until you get to know him a little bit. He's a very kind person. He has great taste in music. I love his sense of humor. Dad has a lot of toys, so Mom tries to keep him in line a little bit. This is me on my graduation day with my grandma Margaret. I took a couple of years off. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
You played.
I played. I had a good time. But that's alright, because then when I went to college, I was ready to start. And it was around that time that I met Ryan.
We started hanging out with the same friends up in Duluth. And pretty much every weekend we'd see each other. I started learning things about her, fun to be with, always joking, good sense of humor. I remember one time after the bar, we went back to this house. I fired up the game system. I think it was like an Xbox.
I am really good at Dr. Mario.
And I had no idea what I was doing. She had walked by, she's like, oh, I'm really good at that game.
It's kind of like Tetris, except you have different colors.
And I was like, yeah, alright, let's play.
I'm like, alright, bring it on. Let's see it happen, you know, because I'm really good at this game.
She was killing me.
I had to go to the bathroom. He's like, okay, well, you go to the bathroom, and when you come back...
If I beat you 3 times in a row, you have to give me a kiss before you go to bed. She left her remote there, so I changed her level up to like 80.
So I come back from the bathroom. He was beating me so bad, and he beat me 3 games in a row. And I didn't know how this was happening.
So after that 3, I stood up, turned off the game, looked at her.
And he's like, all right, I'm ready for my kiss. You know, he kind of puckers up. And I was like, see you later, I'm going to bed.
She pushed me away and she went to bed.
I totally just left him hanging.
It wasn't for lack of trying. I tried my hardest. I told her, you know, next time you're down in the cities, you gotta give me a call. We gotta hang out. I have 2 younger sisters, and I can still remember this day, both of them coming into the world. I always had to hold Shanna. She was a troublemaker, and Ashlyn would just sit and smile. They're 10 and 7 years younger than me, so growing up I was pretty much their role model. I always looked up to my parents, down-to-earth people. They showed me how to get along in this world. My mom's been in banking her whole life. My dad showed me the ropes and how to work hard and work for what you got. He's always been around a bunch of other dads, and you know, he's been a hockey dad, a softball dad, or a baseball dad pretty much his whole life. He's always trying to crack jokes. No matter where he's at, who he's with, it doesn't matter. He's always trying to be just a clown. Look at that guy. How could you not want him in a wedding?
Dan?
Yeah, Cub Scouts. Got the first place ribbon there? I don't know what the heck. They just let me go. Prairie was a good city to grow up in. Pretty much farmland at the time. It was more of a developing area. My parents actually were like the 3rd house on the block. My dad pretty much got me into the outdoors. He got me into fishing right away. Here's me at my aunt and uncle's farm. I used to go down there for weeks at a time during the summer and help out. Hockey was a big thing. She started at the age of 4 or 5. Baseball, tennis. Played hockey with a lot of friends every day after school. He's gonna be my best man.
Same thing happened to me.
We grew up playing hockey together for years.
Ryan's a better player.
Baseball?
I'll take that one.
Jake's right there, the skinny tall guy. We actually lived pretty close together in Eden Prairie. We would ride bikes back and forth. Hey, look at it. There you are. Birthday.
We were actually born on the same day, at the same hospital,
The same daycare. Went to the same high school, grade school.
Same thing happened to
And
me.
then we ended up going up to UMD for college.
Same thing happened to me.
It was around that time that I met Ryan.
I was actually out downtown that night. Hey!
I'm going to outdoor concert to try to go to Dave Matthews.
She called me and she told me she was a block away over at the Lone Tree.
To try to go to Dave.
After this, Alex called up a limo service. Literally got on a limo, went down 1 block, over a block, up a block, and got out again. I was like, God, I hope she saw me get out, you know. pretty much hung out all night.
We have similar interests. We get along very well. He's just a fun person to be with. He is never too serious, which sometimes I can be. I love Ryan's smile. That's something that I'm very attracted to. He has very pretty eyes.
That night, I finally got my first kiss from her, and I was like, you know what? This could be the one. Yeah, she used to come out pretty much every weekend. I slowly convinced her to come out and do events and finish up.
I graduated with an economics degree. I know it sounds nerdy, but I really do kind of have a passion for economics. Austrian school of thought.
She's definitely smarter than me. We had been dating for quite a while. I started looking into ways to propose, and I really didn't know what to do. I was looking online, trying to figure out stuff. How am I going to do this? Pretty soon I just came up with this treasure hunt game. She was at work. I knew she was at work because I asked her for her schedule. I'm going to make it look like I'm not home and put all the cards up for this treasure hunt. Hide them all over the house.
There is a treasure that you can find if you are willing to use your mind.
I was coming home from work and I called him to let him know I was sitting in a little bit of traffic, and he said, okay.
I have hands that do not wave, I do not walk, but I move around.
I have hands but do not speak.
You know what? You just got to come in the house. There's a card right there. Grab it. Play along. It'll be fun.
So I got home and there was a little card.
You can be open or shut, but I will not let out the mutt.
I was like, oh yes, he bought me gummy bears or something. That's what I was thinking.
I don't go out and play. I just stay home all day, and you will make something grown in a hat a little bit up in that.
And I kind of led her around the house, into the bathroom, above the clock,
It took me a while because I couldn't figure out some of his hints.
to the front door, and I could hear her come up the stairs. I'm like, great, she's finding them at least.
You come to me with your bills. You go on the computer to get some thrills.
And all of a sudden I hear her come down the hall. I'm like, oh, here we go.
And so I opened the door to the guest bedroom. He's all dressed up very nice. He has a bouquet of flowers.
I had stargazer lilies, roses, everything.
6
But I
o'clock.
had the ring hidden. She's like, hey, what are you doing?
I thought that was it. I thought he bought me flowers.
Opened it, got down on one knee and looked at her, asked her to marry me. And I didn't get an answer.
Ryan has a really good sense of humor, but sometimes he can, his humor comes at the wrong time. So I thought for sure he was joking.
You know, because I'd be someone to do that, I've done the fake proposal before and got down on one knee. So I'm sitting there going, well, on one knee, she's looking at the ring, looking at me, stand up and hug her, and I'm kind of like, well.
And then he asked me, so what's your answer? And I said, yes, absolutely. I didn't expect it at all. It was just a random day, random time. And that was actually how we met.
Now that I set the story straight.
Dr. Mario, yes.
Yeah, I was pretty good at that game.
I was good at the game.
I went as Mario for Halloween once. I even had the Mario hat. One day she came home from work and I had it on.
I like
You
children.
change every day.
I like children that I can send home. I don't know, maybe max, if any, one.